Welcome to Flash Tutorial 79 Animated Ferris Wheel Part 2. It's a follow-up to Tutorial 78 Animated Ferris Wheel, and that's what I have opened on my computer now. I'm going to start by making sure all the layers are locked and making sure all the layers are visible so I can see my 5 seats on the wheel. I want to find the layer, and I think it's this one called Spokes on top, and there it is there. I want to unlock that for a minute and pick up my free transform tool, and I want to highlight it and make sure that that center, that circle there, is right in the center of that movie clip. Double click on the movie clip, and now we're inside that Spokes movie clip. Lock this layer, insert a layer, and call it Spokes, S-P-O-K-S. Select that first frame. Pick up your rectangle tool, and I'm going to go with a black stroke, and I'm going to use a bluish color for my fill. You can pick whatever you want. We're going to make some spokes on this. So we're going to start off by making a square. Hold your shift down and make a very small square. There it is there. Highlight it, and if I look at it, my properties panel, it's a 16 by 16 square. Open the alignment panel, click on the transform, and here make sure rotate is selected, and in here type 45 degrees and then hit enter, and that will rotate this 45 degrees for me. I'm going to pick up the selection tool. I'm going to take it over and put it on this line. I'm going to use my arrow keys so that it is directly on that line. See that? If I click off to the side, that's pretty much straight on that line. My selection tool, make sure it's right in line with that, and I'm happy with that. I got my selection tool. I'm going to pick that up and drag it up to there. Looks slightly symmetrical. Grab this one and pull it down to there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to highlight it all in my case and just move it with my arrow keys slightly to the right, and I'm going to straighten this out ever so slightly. I don't want to play around with this too much. Pick up the free transform tool. This little circle here has to be up here, so take that circle, put it right up there. You're trying to be right in the center of that as best you can. There's a little cross here, so I want to right on that. Now open that alignment tool, make sure rotate is selected, 72, and we're going to go with this, click, 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 click. There we go. I like that one. Let's go back to scene 1, and you can see that's been incorporated there. So now we want to turn this. Make sure that the only layer that is unlocked is this spokes layer. So click there and unlock that spokes layer. Select frame 40 and insert a keyframe. Open up the alignment panel. Click transform. Make sure rotate is selected and put in here minus 72. We want this to turn counterclockwise. Enter. Close that off. Go up to frame 80. They're already in line with these ones. Insert a keyframe. Open that panel again, and this time minus 144. Enter. Go up to the next keyframe area right here. Insert keyframe. Open this alignment panel again, this time minus 216. enter. Go up to the next one, which is the 160. Insert keyframe. Open that panel. Transform. Minus 288. Enter. And naturally, back here puts us back to where we were. In here, click Insert Create Classic Tween. Back to this section anywhere, Create Classic Tween. Create Classic Tween. And Create Classic Tween. And one more, Create Classic Tween. Let's give that a quick test. And see how the seats sort of look like they're rocking back to balance out. Good. Let's put the playhead back on frame 1. Lock that spokes layer. Open the library panel. Open the spokes movie clip. And the layer that contains the blue, which in our case is this one called spokes. Right click, I want to copy that layer. Copy the layer. So we're copying the layer that contains that spoke. Open the library panel. Come down here. You can't see it, but it says new symbol. And this is going to be spokes 2, S-P-O-K-S 2_MC. And now we're inside that new movie clip. Click that frame 1. Right click on the stage. Paste in place. If you haven't got the squares here, pick up your free transform tool and highlight it. And I want that dot to be right up there on that center as best we can. There it is there. Open up your alignment panel. Open up the transform tab and make sure rotate is selected. And I want to make this turn half 72, which is 36 degrees. There it is there. Close that panel. Now, over here, pick up a rid for my fill. One at a time, select the selection tool. Click here. Make sure the outside's not highlighted. Then click on this. Select this one. Click on this twice. Select this one. Click this twice. Here. Double click. And here. Make sure you're not getting that outside black. Double click. And now we have a rid spoke. So let's open up the scene 1. Let's make another layer. So make sure all the layers are locked. If they're not, select that top spokes layer. Insert a layer. Spokes 2. S-P-O-K 2. Select frame 1. And drag in spokes 2. And let's, with our eyes as best we can, I'm using my arrow keys, center it again so that the part that's sticking outside the circles are equal. I can see I have a little bit there, a little bit there. I'm happy with that. Get the free transform tool and put this dot right on that center there as best we can. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did with this as we did with the blue. Insert a keyframe. Open up the alignment panel. Transform tag. Make sure rotate is selected. Minus 72. And this is the tell-all here. It's not too bad. We'll go with that. Go up to the next one. Insert a keyframe. This one's going to be minus 144. Minus 144. 44. Go up to the next keyframe right here, insert a keyframe, transform. This one's going to be -216. -216. Enter. Go up to the next one. Insert a keyframe. This is -288. Enter. And the last one, convert this to a keyframe. Open the alignment panel, transform, make sure rotate, make sure highlight it. And in here, -360. Enter. Now let's put a classic tween in each of these sections. There's one there. Classic tween in here. Same thing here. And there's one more. Let's give this a quick test and see if them turn somewhat the same. I'm following this one around. Looks relatively good to me. Good. Let's lock all the layers. Put the playhead over frame 1. Select the top layer, insert a layer, call this one Hub, H-U-B, and pick up your oval tool. Here, draw a circle. I'm holding the shift down. I'm dragging that over, selecting it with my selection tool, and I'm making sure that it's roughly centered on that. Roughly. And let's give that a quick test, see how that looks. I'm happy with that. Let's make a blue here, and let's make a smaller circle, holding my shift down, selection tool, and center that roughly onto that one there. Lock this hubs layer, insert a layer, call it star, S-T-A-R. Select frame 1. Open your rectangle tool block here. Select Polystar. Open up the Properties panel. Under Options here, click Options. And here I want you to select Star. And here put 10. And point size 0.5. Click OK. Make the stroke here blue and make the fill yellow. And somewhere here make a star. We're going to center it. Make it as big as you wish. That's how big I'm making mine. Come up to the timeline. Click on the hub layer. Put that above the star layer. Select frame 1 again of that star, and using your arrow keys and or your mouse, whatever you want, and put it so that these spots right here seem to be equal distance. Now let's give that a little test. Very good. Lock that star layer, select the hub layer, insert layer, and call this frame, F-R-A-M-E. Select the first frame of this frame layer and pick up your rectangle tool. We'll stay with the yellow-blue combination here. I'm going to push this up so I have some room to work with. And I'm going to draw me a line. Just get the perspective from this one. Pick up the free transform tool, highlight it, rotate it a little bit, like that. Now get in here until you get those sort of parallel vertical bars. You do push it up like that slightly so that that is horizontal. And pick up the selection tool, highlight that. Get the crosshairs, right click, copy, paste in place. While it's still selected, go up to modify, transform, flip horizontally. So now we have two of them. Using my arrow keys, I'm just moving it over like that. Then I'm going to click on that line right there and delete it. Highlight that whole thing, and using my arrow keys, popping it over to put it on the center there. And that's going to be my Ferris wheel. I'm going to change this yellow here to a crazy red color there. Lock that layer. Come down to the very bottom. Grab this circle layer now. Bring it right up to the top. Make sure all layers are locked. Unlock the circle layer. Select frame 1. While it's selected, open the properties panel. Make the stroke 3. Enter. That makes that bit fatter. And let's make that stroke color red. No. Let's make the stroke color blue. Ah, that's much better. Last test. And there's my Ferris wheel. I hope you learned something from these tutorials, and I hope you use what you learn.